So let's dive into the 1 week plan. What I want to show you is I'm going to show you the plan, then we're going to kind of break it down, and I'm going to show you some of the major components of the plan and why it can be beneficial to you. I'm not suggesting that you all are going to do this to a T, but maybe it will give you some food for thought. Okay, so we've got 1 week, 5 days. Notice it kind of gets, we add to it each day. There's some things that we do on Monday and we continue to do them on Tuesday, and so they're carried across, and we build and we build and we build. So the big picture, before I go back and kind of break each part down, week 1, we want to accomplish these things. We want to establish the read aloud as a high priority, a great time where kids are engaged and paying attention. We want to also establish independent reading time, like our independent reading center, even if that means that we will be looking at books and not necessarily reading. We want to establish a word work center, and that's super important because one of our big rocks is getting students reading quickly, and the word work will get them reading quickly. And then we also want to establish whole group switch it and read it. So this is Monday through Friday. And let's zoom back into Monday. Hopefully you can see a little bit of that. First, you're going to start assessing, even if it's just catch 1 kid for 3 minutes or 2 or 3 kids for a few minutes. If you're in kindergarten, can they recognize some letter sounds? Can they write their name? Some very fundamental assessing so that hopefully pretty soon you can get them in groups. So I consider that all week you're going to be trying to sneak in moments where you can do some quick assessing, whether it's mandated assessments that you have from your school or district, or some little assessments that you know will help you find out what kind of triage information you can get to be able to group kids quickly. So the other big thing I hope that you can accomplish on Monday is to teach the read aloud procedures. And that is, you know, it's kind of funny that it's such a big deal, but if you're an experienced teacher, you know that it is. So the read aloud is the first big rock for the year. Not only is it academic, but it's so motivating and engaging, and it's a way to build community. It's a way to share your love of books and connect with kids emotionally and really hook them into the love of reading from day 1. Then the other big rock that we're aiming for is to get the students reading. So teach them the procedures for how to get them to be reading a book, and practice them doing independent reading stations, even if it's just for 5 minutes. And you say afterwards, okay, how did that go? And you give them the routine that you want in your classroom for them to be independently reading. Okay, so that was day 1. Then we're going to carry those things into day 2. So again, of course, we're going to do the read aloud. And of course, we're going to do independent reading, but also maybe we're going to extend the time. So maybe we just did the independent reading for 5 minutes. And today we're going to say, Tuesday, we're going to say, hey guys, you did a great job yesterday, but with 5 minutes. Today, let's aim for 7 minutes, shall we? And so you keep building their stamina for each of the things that you're trying to accomplish. But then you got to also dive into that, the word work, right? The sooner you get them learning how the code works, the better. So build it and switch it are 2 classic reading simplified activities that we teach. I'm going to give you a quick example of switch it, which is a slightly harder variation. And this is one way to do it as a whole group. This is switch it really quickly. Okay, so we've got... let's make the word mat, okay? Girls and boys, I want you to listen for the first sound. What's here when I say mat, okay? I don't want you to say it out loud. I just want you to think in your head, what sound do you hear when I say mat? And when I count to 3, we're all going to say the sound that we hear in our ear. And so then you get them to try to do a whole class identification of the sound, okay? 1, 2, 3, what sound? Hopefully. Maybe they won't all do it, but that's okay. This is just to give them the procedures and get them moving a little bit closer to being able to do the activity. Okay, which one of these should I put here for And they hopefully they know at least their basic number so that they say, actually, here's the other trick. Instead of having them call it out, I want to see you put the fingers by your your chest, right under your chin, that relate to the number that we're going to call out, okay? So if it's and you think that, say, is 3, then you need to put a number 3 up against your chest, but I don't want you to put it up in the air. I want this just to be for you and me. And so that's a quick way to scan the room and see who seems to be following and who isn't. Okay, so Tuesday, we're doing the same thing we did on Monday, but we're adding another activity, that importance of whole group. Either build it or switch it. Build it you do if the kids don't know even 7-letter sounds on average in your class. If your kids on average know more than 7-letter sounds, then you go to switch it. Okay, let's check on to Wednesday. Then you're still going to do the same thing, build it and switch it. Again, you're still going to do the read aloud, but maybe go a little longer. You're still going to do independent reading center, but maybe a little longer. And then you're going to do another teaching of a procedure of a new thing. And this time it will be a word work center. Okay, and then you really got to teach the procedures, because this can be hairy, getting kids to all do the same thing. Or maybe different things. And in fact, that's what I do recommend, that you teach them how to do one activity at a center, but you still from the very beginning give them different levels. And even if they self-select into those levels, if you don't assign them, just show them that this is the way we're going to be doing things. Centers are a time when we're going to have different levels. And later, the assignment of the levels may be given. But at this point, perhaps not. So here's an example. So say you're doing an activity like picture word matching cards. So if you cut up these cards, and they would have the word, and they would have the picture, and they would have to match them, okay? So you might have that be your center for that Wednesday, but you would have 3 levels, okay? You might have the CVC, 3 sounds with a short A. So maybe kids will draw from a box or from some sort of thing and pull out the pack of CVC short A. And then maybe another group will pick out a pack of CVC short I. And maybe another group will pick out a pack of mixed short vowels. So they have a, okay? So the same center, different levels. Start that day 1 or week 1 so that you get this into the kids' mindset. And then it will be easier and easier as you expand your centers throughout the course of the year. So let's move into Thursday. Notice we're still assessing every day. We're still teaching each activity's procedures over and over again. We're hammering that home because that's going to make for a joyful environment and not one where the teacher's pulling her hair out. So again, we're going to do whole class build it and switch it. And now we're going to do whole class read it. Okay, so again, you might have up in the front of the class a dry erase board, and you're going to ask the kids to read a word, and you're going to teach them the blend as you read strategy. You would ask the kids just to not call out the word. I don't want to hear the word. In fact, you might hide it. Okay, and you teach them procedures. I'm going to show you a word, but I do not want to hear it from everybody until I call for it, okay? So the first thing I'm going to do is show you 2 sounds, and when I count to 3, I'm going to ask you to put those 2 sounds only together, okay? This is the first 2 sounds. Don't tell me the word, even if you have seen it. I just want you to put the first 2 sounds together. Ready? 1, 2, 3. What do we have? Sa. Okay, that's great, you guys. Let's do that together. I think I heard most people saying sa, and hold that sound right there. Sa. Okay, when I lift this up, we're going to say the third sound. We're going to add it onto the word. We'll make the word all as soon as I lift this card. Are you ready? We've got sa. Let me hear it. Sa. What's the word? Sat. Okay, hopefully they can do that. And if they can, then you do the coaching for how to resolve their problems whole group. But if some of the kids are just totally lost, that's probably okay, as long as this is a short activity, you're just getting their attention. And then when you're in small groups, then you can give them the attention that they really need. That was Thursday. We're introduced whole class read it. We're going to continue whole class read it, review the procedures, but hopefully it'll be a little easier. And we're going to do build it and switch it. So maybe keep it to 5 minutes each, build it or switch it and read it. Don't need to take too long. It's to get them accustomed to the activity and get maybe a little phonemic awareness, a little decoding going. You still do the read aloud, you still do the word work center, and then on Friday, teach them one more center, the listening along center. And even teach them the procedures for how to do that. That's probably more complicated if you have some technology, right? That's what's probably involved there. How are they going to deal with the buttons, and if it's on a computer, or if it's on the CD, all that procedural stuff can be daunting. So that is 1 week